Hey guys, Will here. Welcome to another battle report. This is the second of the semi-finals for the Battle of 8 Armies. Tonight it's Sam's Khorne Daemonkin against Sam's Orks being commanded by me. As ever, it's 1750. If you want to know more about the Battle of 8 Armies, check the link in the description. We've already rolled for mission, and it's Contact Lost, which is the one where we have to hold objectives to claim objectives. And this time around it is Dawn of War deployment, and we're down here at 40k Gaming on this sort of urban ruins and sort of burnt out trees and craters field down here. So if you want to see the army lists, check the introduction video, but for now, on to deployment. Right, so I won the roll-off and chose to go first. I've set up my strongest units in the centre here. I've got the big guns battery, that's what are they, custom mega cannons with the Forge World Grot crew on there. Then the battle wagon here has the big mech and the mega knobs in there. He's got a custom force field, so that should have some survivability, although it is night fighting, so that's another little bonus to that. Got mob boys there, bikes and another mob boys on this flank, and then over the other side I've got tank buster boys. Tried to place them centrally to give them a good range of targets, because I know there's a few very potent vehicle or monster units in the Khorne army. Then I've got the Gorkanaut, and riding in there is a mob of burner boys with a mech. And then on this flank, final mob of boys looking to get forward and start to contest some objectives. Sam is just finishing off his scout moves now. He's scouted some flesh hounds over into that woods. Then there's a skull crusher. No, soul grinder. I always get that one wrong. Soul grinder behind that building. Then in the centre he's got another soul grinder with a unit of possessed and a bloodthirster hiding behind them. And then the other fleshhound unit have scouted forward behind this hill. And then hiding in this building off to the flank, we've got a unit of skull crushers. Yep. And then he's got a whole lot in reserves. If we go over here to the spare table, got blood letters, blood letters, blood letters, blood letters, more bloody blood letters. Somewhere in one of these units, here he is his warlord, a herald of Khorne. And then he's got a demon prince. He has got a skull cannon lurking around. It's not in his list, but he's very much intending to summon that at the earliest opportunity. If you've seen Sam play as Khorne Daemonkin before, you'll have seen this skull cannon be summoned and probably blown up and summoned again. Damn thing doesn't go away. So yeah, that's the battlefield, and Sam is now going to try and seize the initiative. Oh, Khorne seizes the initiative. On to Chaos, turn 1. So for Chaos turn 1, he had a single objective, which was hold the line. Achieved that nice and easy by holding back with his 2 soul grinders and the possess, so they're just towing into the deployment zone. Other than that, the whole army just moved forwards. Bloodthirster, Fleshhounds, Blood Crushers down the flank, and these Fleshhounds ran right into the front of my army. They weren't able to assault because he stole the initiative, but they're getting in my way and they're going to have to be dealt with. Shooting phase was fairly uneventful. Both soul grinders shot at trucks. This guy got the tank busters one, so they're snap firing only next turn, and that lost a hull point. And this one over here, again, snap firing only next turn and lost a hull point. That was from that soul grinder. So a fairly uneventful Chaos turn 1, but it's given me some things to deal with. So let's see how the Orks respond in Ork turn 1. So the Orcs' opening objective was Scour the Skies, which is a great opportunity to deal with the Bloodthirster right from the outset. So started by moving up my tank busters and Gorkanaut into range to shoot that, and also moved this truck up to sit on that objective. Actually immobilised itself on the rubble, but oh well, these things happen. With the Fleshhounds right in front of my battle wagon, I had to disembark my mega knobs to deal with them, and they absolutely annihilated them in combat. They'd lost half the squad already from shooting, and then just ate through them for 1 wound in return. So good work there to the Orks. This truck couldn't go anywhere, tried to shoot the Fleshhounds and did diddly squat. The bike swung round and also shot the flesh hounds, again contributing to that massacre in combat. And this truck moved up to sit on objective 3. As for the main event, killing the Bloodthirster, the tank busters fired at it, and despite snap firing, managed to put 2 wounds on it. Then the Gorkanaut fired and put another wound on it, leaving it on just 2 wounds, which led to the custom mega cannons firing up. One of them did overheat, but the other 4 managed to put a wound on the flesh hounds, which was saved, and then 3 wounds on the Bloodthirster. 2 got through, and the Bloodthirster's gone. So that is not only First Blood and Scour the Skies, but probably the single scariest unit in the Demon Army out of the way right from the offset. So a really positive start to the Orks there. Scored an objective and First Blood, but there's a lot of demons about to deep strike down on me. This guy's about to drop 30 to 40 blood letters on me, and a Demon Prince. But let's see if he can pull it off. We've got some reserve rolls here, I think.
Starting with my Herald with his unit. Gets to reroll. Comes on.
Their Herald special ability.
They've got 2 units with banners and instruments. 1 comes on.
1 comes on.
Which will bring a second unit of Bloodletters. Same with the Herald, will bring a Demon Prince.
Okay, so
I've got a unit of Bloodletters to roll for. You come on. So only 1 unit of Bloodletters in reserve still.
So that's what, 3 units of Bloodletters.
So the Herald comes on with an instrument and pulls in the second unit, pulls in the Demon Prince.
Yep.
Then a unit of banner comes in, pulls in a unit of Bloodletters. Then I roll for the last unit of Bloodletters which came in.
Okay, so on to Chaos, turn 2. So all those demon reserves have landed right in the middle of my army here, taken the centre ground of the board. Did lose 2 from deep striking into difficult terrain with these Bloodletters, and we've got the Prince over there, and they all spread out in the movement phase, shooting phase even, with the run moves. Now with the objectives, he had Khorne Cares Not, which is just 3 units get destroyed. Doesn't even have to be his opponents, can be any 3 units. And score objective 6, which is right down the end here. Very little shooting, although that Soul Grinder managed to wreck that truck from shooting, but then failed its charge on the boys inside. And that Soul Grinder shot the Gorkanaut, but managed to kill one of the tank busters from, or 2 of the tank busters from this mob with its torrent flamer. Then in the assault phase, masses of charges. The big one was the Soul Grinder into the Gorkanaut. Wrecked it before the Gorkanaut was able to fight back. Slightly above average rolls for the Soul Grinder, but yeah, that's a big chunk of my army out. The unit inside got out here, passed their pinning check. Blood Crushers charged the Rhino, wrecked it, unit passed its pinning check. Fleshhounds charged this truck, wrecked it, guys inside passed the pinning check. So that was pretty much the story of the game. Lots of wreck the vehicle, but the guys inside passed the pinning. So score-wise, he got D3 for Khorne Cares Not, and rolled a 3 for that, so, well, a 6, so 3 points. So Orks Demons are taking a lead there, but then he's discarded Secure Objective 6. Let's see if the Orks can come back for this on Ork, turn 2. Objectives for the Ork turn were More Speed, Go Faster, Hungry for Glory, and Secure Objective 4. Unfortunately, Secure Objective 4 is right over here somewhere. There we go. So that was going to be a bit of a pain in the arse to get. But Hungry for Glory was doable, I just had to get into a challenge. Now, with all these demons blocking my war boss in, he knew he could only assault Bloodletters that turn. And so he did so and wiped out 1 unit. But then the rest of my attacks didn't go quite so well. The cannons fired at the Demon Prince, and 2 overheated, 2 failed to wound, and only took 1 wound off him. Then, in order to get Hungry for Glory, I charged him with a mob that had come out of here. Unfortunately, they just got butchered in combat, as kind of expected, but I did score the Hungry for Glory point. Was hoping to maybe put another wound on him, but unfortunately that didn't happen. The big gun here fired at the Bloodletters and just killed 1 of them. And then over here I was trying to do a little bit of a switcheroo where I had my flamer dudes there, the burner boys, and I needed to charge them into the Fleshhounds to then allow the tank busters to charge at the Soul Grinder with their melter bombs. First charge went off fine. They did lose the combat, but you know, the main purpose was to stop them blocking the charge lane. Then these guys lost way too many in the charge and then had a terrible charge roll. I think I actually lost more models in the assault phase than Sam did there. Really just not a good assault phase there. And then over here, the bikes charged the Soul Grinder. Seeing how well Biker Knob had done in the previous Orks versus Daemonkin game, I thought he'd have a chance. All the bikes died, but that was to be expected. And then I managed to only put one hull point on him and immobilise him. But unfortunately, that's not going to be enough to keep him alive next turn, but at least it stops that badass from shooting next turn. So, points-wise, I've only scored Hungry for Glory, and I'm going to discard more speed, go faster, because I just don't intend to be running that much. Anyway, with
just
things...
I am on 8 blood types, apparently.
And that
so I could summon a Bloodthirster.
Okay, so we have lots of Bloodthirster points coming up, and someone trying to spoil the video by the sounds of it. But yeah, let's see what happens in in Chaos turn 3.
Right, just a quick one. My blood types this turn. I decided not to summon anything, just because I don't generally think I need anything more. I don't have the right Bloodthirster model to summon. So I went with Apocalyptic Fury, which gives my whole army +1 attack. And so yeah, +1 attack cross-wide. And then my second one, I would normally go with Beyond Pain. We've got Slaughter Clouds, but I get a second option for them. But I went with this one, which is called
Insatiable Bloodlust.
Insatiable Bloodlust, which gives my Slaughter Cloud range and furious charge. So that means Demon Prince is 5 attack base. When he charges, he gets 2, taking him up to 7, and then +1 for the Apocalyptic Fury. So he's at 8 base, and Bloodletters on the charge will be at 4 base.
Nasty, nasty. Let's see what they can do with that in Daemonkin turn 3. So for the Demon turn, he had Secure Objective 3, and Secure Objective 6, which is down here, and also Psychological Warfare. Now, next unit of Bloodletters arrived from reserves, deep struck down here, and spread out to Secure Objective 3, so that's that done. To try and get 6, to get closer to 6, the Fleshhounds charged the survivors of the Tank Busters unit, who'd already been shot by the Skull Crusher, Soul Grinder even. They charged him, beat him, but that objective's still being held by the cannons. Then over here, the Blood Crushers charged into the boys, took some damage on the way in, and the 2 survivors are still on 1 wound, but wiped out the whole mob. And over here, we had 2 units of Bloodletters and the Demon Prince all charging into the War Bosses unit. Now that Demon Prince is an absolute monster with all those attacks at AP 2, Strength 7. Just butchered his way through the Mega Knobs. They really were lacking the invuln that they'd have needed to have any chance there. And so I've got 1 Mega Knob and Cogzag left in that unit, my big mech. And that will... they'd failed their leadership, but did pass did mob rule that, so they are going to hold. But I'm seriously running out of Orks. I've got Squad of Boys in there, a tank, artillery unit, and my commander and his 1 surviving knob. Over here, the biker lost in combat to the Soul Grinder, which was very much to be predicted. So, Chaos got D3 for Psychological Warfare and rolled a 5. Rolled a 4, so he's got another 2 for that, and he's secured Objective 3. I think he's discarded Secure 6, so this looks looking bad for the Orks, but let's see if we can come back from it in Ork turn 3. Okay, so Ork turn 3. Started by drawing Secure Objective 4 again, because I was only holding 1 objective, and like I say, 4's right over in that building, so I had nothing that can get to it. So it was really just about what I could salvage. So this truck moved into position to fire at the Bloodletters that were threatening my guns, Fleshhounds. Managed to kill one and leave the surviving one on a single wound, so they've kind of been neutralised as a threat. That freed up the guns to have a shot at the bloodletters that were with his warlord, the Herald, and they absolutely massacred the unit. And one of the shots scattered onto the Soul Grinder, penetrated it and blew it up. So that's the warlord, the Soul Grinder, and the whole squad just from this little 150 point unit, who have also killed a Bloodthirster today. So absolute man of the match to these guys. These 150 points of guns, and they're just butchering stuff. And then this cannon fired and killed a couple of Bloodletters as well, but not really making a difference compared to what these guns did. That just left the assault phase. Demon Prince was the only guy who actually even got round to swinging. He just completely annihilated the Mega Knobs and my Warlord. So that has left me end of the turn with scoring no points. I've got this tank, which is more of a transport, not doing a lot. This tank with one troops unit in, and these artillery all scrunched up in the corner here. And if we zoom out, we've got 3 units of Bloodletters, a Demon Prince, a Soul Grinder, unit of Possessed, and the Blood Crushers. And if we go to the Demon points, we can see he has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and Slay the Warlord. So he's got 8 points. And then over here he's also on 8 Blood Tithes, so he can do a lot of summoning next turn. So compared to the Orcs' 3 points, and with virtually nothing left on the table, I mean, we've got the Demon turn now, and how I see this going is the Demon Prince is going to assault the Battle Wagon and wreck it. This unit of Bloodletters is going to assault the guns and kill them. This unit of Bloodletters is going to assault the truck, kill that. There's really nothing left to be played. So, yeah, we're going to call that there. Really good first turn for the Orcs, but then it all went downhill once all those Bloodletters turned up. I basically had one turn to kill all of them before they got into melee, and that turn was one of my worst shooting phases. So yeah, definite Khorne victory there, and really well played. Thank you very much, Sam. What did you think?
It went south quickly for the Orcs. They certainly had the tools to take the Daemonkin, well, the guns and the cannon, but I think still the initiative, pinning you in your broad edge, getting my reserves well.
Yeah.
It just went well for me. Killing the Gorkanaut was lucky.
Yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed that battle, and join us again for the final. See you soon. Bye. So, an emphatic victory there for the Khorne Daemonkin. The use of those Flesh Hounds, and then later the deep striking Bloodletters, to completely pin the Orcs back in their deployment zone, meant that the Orcs had absolutely nowhere to go and were just forced to shoot and or assault the nearest target, which really meant that from the word go, the Orcs were trying to play the Demon's game. The big guns were the ones saving grace for the Orcs there, really racked up a massive tally, taking down the Bloodthirster on the first turn, and then subsequently dealing with the Soul Grinder and some Flesh Hounds. So really good there. I'm seriously considering adding some of those custom mega cannons to my own Orc force, but ultimately it was too little to stop the Demon force, and the Orcs were steamrolled inside 3 turns. That result sees the Khorne Daemonkin move into the final, where they'll be playing the Necrons. This should be a much greater challenge for the Khorne Daemonkin, whereas previously they've had to go through 2 Orc armies that have both lacked resilience but had a lot of manoeuvrability and firepower. The Necrons are quite different. They've got some incredible resilience there and should pose a tougher challenge. But will the Khorne Daemonkin be able to overcome this? Only way to find out is to join us again for the final of the Battle of 8 Armies.